Julius Malema raised an issue over America having military base in Botswana. And the reason why he's uncomfortable with this is he says, should America ever have a problem with South Africa and choose to flatten the country, it will only take 2 minutes before the country is able to do that. Now, America has been rapidly expanding its military bases across Africa and positioning itself in strategic places. And Julius Malema says this threatens the very security and sovereignty of many African countries, South Africa included.
A research was conducted. The landing strip that is there in the army base of Botswana, they say it can land a fighter jet which can take less than 2 minutes if it wants to hit the Union building. So if America says we're fighting South Africa, it doesn't have to send anything from Washington. They are here already. And that's what Putin doesn't want in Ukraine. They want to do what they did here in Botswana, in Ukraine. And people need to know that there is a base here which can flatten South Africa in less than no time if America decides to fight with us. It doesn't have to move anything from Washington. Actually, by the time we assemble our equipment, will be gone.
Hello there, how are you doing? Welcome to another episode of our conversations. My name is Ondiro Oganga. I'm a business journalist by profession and a digital content creator. I love coming on here, having conversations about Black people, Africans, our empowerment, and how we can rise up and take our rightful place at the global stage. Today, I want to talk about an interview that Julius Malema had some time back. He was talking about a couple of things, and the first one that I would like us to address is just borders and what fuels migration of people. So Julius Malema was giving an address in one of the many places that he's always invited to speak, and he spoke of an array of issues which we'll be dissecting today. One of the key issues that he spoke about was migration of African youth across the continent and what fuels the movements of people. And he made a lot of sense, because he says the reason why people move is because of poverty. People are just looking for opportunities. And he was encouraging African youth and South African youth not to be limited by borders. Borders are artificial and they were created by people. And it's high time that Africans begin defying these borders and going where opportunities take them. We live in a world where right now people working remotely, opportunities are available across the continent, but we limit our scope of thinking because you don't want to look outside of your vicinity to look for opportunities. And he was just urging African youth to think outside the box. If you're in South Africa, go to Nigeria, look for opportunities there. If you're in Nigeria, go to Madagascar or Mozambique, look for opportunities. There are opportunities in terms of labor, opportunities in terms of selling your product, because borders are actually a concept created by Europeans during the colonial era.
Your problem is that you are saying you don't want colonialism, but you embrace the borders that were brought by colonialism here. Amen. There were no borders here. There have never been borders here. And that, is it Berlin Conference? It's not long time ago. It's traceable. The borders started then. The people will never leave their countries to your country if their economy and their government is working. Limpopo is very poor. There is no border between Gauteng and Limpopo. But Limpopo people have not left Limpopo to come to Gauteng. Yet Gauteng has got more resources. Why can't they leave Limpopo and come here? If these people wanted to come here, this fence was not going to stop them. No one wants to come here. They are coming to look for opportunities, and that's what we must encourage with all of you, especially the unemployed youth of South Africa. Let Africa be your playing ground. We were conditioned to think that we are superior and we are a country that is defined out of the continent. There are many countries in the continent that are doing so well. And they can use your skill, and they use dollars, by the way, some to pay. Okay. So our position didn't change. All right. I have no time for borders. Why? I have no time for colonialism. How would you say to me, go and change French on the passport, and then come at the same time and say, when's my board? Leave the borders alone, but remove French. Removing of French on the passport is part of decolonizing South Africa.
Malema also mentions a very important thing. He says borders do not exist in Europe and in Americas. You know, they know the importance of the free movement of people and free movement of goods. And it's high time also Africa begins recognizing the power that it has. Can you imagine all the resources that the continent has? If these resources were able to move freely, Africa is such a young continent. To mean majority of the people on the continent have some form of education, mostly like a degree or a master's degree, but they're constrained because of borders. If these people could move freely across the continent, if goods could move freely, if Kenyan flowers did not necessarily have to go to Netherlands for them to come back to, you know, to be bought in Ghana or Nigeria, and then people think, oh, the flowers are from Holland. Yeah, those flowers are literally from Kenya. And it also says a lot about how we perceive our own goods. You will buy a car from Germany and call it a German machine, yet you will not buy a car that was made in Africa by Africans that understand the African terrain. Most of those cars, to be honest, and most of the products that are built in Europe and America are made for those markets. The studies are done for those markets. They're made for those people. And so here comes innovation and technology that is spearheaded by Africans for Africa on the continent, but because we suffer this inferiority complex and we think that the only thing that is legit is what has the approval mark of a white person, we look down upon ourselves, and by doing that, we're sort of dwarfing our own growth as Africans on the continent.
They don't have borders in Europe. But when it comes to us, they say, no, you must have borders. Why? The division of of Africa is what makes them thrive. They thrive on the division of the African continent. Can you imagine the minerals of DRC combined with the minerals of South Africa and with a new currency based on the minerals? What we can do to the dollar if we become a United States of Africa with our minerals alone? We can collapse the dollar. We can collapse the strong pound that is based on gold, yet they don't have a gold mine. So why do you allow such things? So my position is informed by that. And someone says, no, we won't vote you. If you say such things, we won't vote for you. He's asking me to lie so that he can go around saying politicians lie. When I tell the truth, I won't vote for you. I must lie so that they can vote for me.
Correct.
There were no borders, and we must all of us unite in that call.
Yeah.
Free movements of persons, free movements of goods will make this country flourish. We will even produce our own products. One thing that you South Africans undermine yourself with is that you are the America of Africa. If you are to produce anything here, Africa will receive it with both hands. They will say, this one is from South Africa. You are known for quality, yet you still don't produce a car. Open the borders. Let the goods move. Let people move. Then produce a car that is South African and sell it to the billions of people who are out there waiting for products from South Africa.
All right.
We don't produce anything, yet we've got market.
Finally, he spoke about one issue that has put him in a lot of trouble, and it's the military bases that are being set up by America in Botswana. America expanding its military and naval bases on the continent is nothing new. America has gotten in a lot of trouble with some African countries, their neighbors, and also their allies because of how aggressively the country is setting up military bases across the continent. And this is worrying because if in all honesty, who are we fighting against? I didn't know there's a third world war or a fourth world war coming, but the money that goes in defense budgets and expanding and just ensuring that you're ready is scary to some point. And that's what Julius Malema points out. He says, if you look at the investment that has gone into the Botswanan base by the Americans, it's mind-boggling, because should South Africa ever have a problem with America, then South Africa is at a risk, because any military operations against South Africa can be done from Botswana, and it will only take 2 minutes to flatten the whole country out. And so he says Africans need to get to a place where they protect the sovereignty of the land and not make it very easy for Western forces to just come in and set bases. You're threatening your very own independence and security by allowing these things to happen.
I was charged by the ANC for saying Botswana has got an American base and poses a threat to South Africa. Mbalula repeated it a few days ago. Mbalula said Botswana is a threat with an American base. He's not charged. But I was charged for that. And that one didn't want me for that. Because I said we need to remove the government of Botswana through the people of Botswana and put a government that will dismantle that base, which is putting a threat on the whole of SADC. Because a research was conducted, the landing strip that is there in the army base of Botswana, they say it can land a fighter jet which can take less than 2 minutes if it wants to hit the Union building. So if America says we're fighting South Africa, it doesn't have to send anything from Washington. They are here already. And that's what Putin doesn't want in Ukraine. They want to do what they did here in Botswana, in Ukraine. We allowed it. And our position as the EFF is that that army base must be removed because it poses a threat to SADC. And he didn't want me to say, he banned me for my political opinion. I didn't say we're going to bomb Botswana or anything of that sort. But he was threatened by the honesty that we shared with people.
All right.
And people need to know that there is a base here which can flatten South Africa in less than no time if America decides to fight with us. It doesn't have to move anything from Washington. Actually, by the time we assemble, our equipment will be gone.
Well, that's all I had for you. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think about Julius Malema's sentiments on America setting up a base in Botswana and the risk it poses for South Africa. I'll see you again next time.